Hey guys, I hope yesterday's video went well for everybody. It looked like the same amount of students were getting things submitted on time. If you need anything from me, I'm always available on Remind. Some of you also text and call, which has been nice. So yeah, just if you have any questions, just reach out to us. Okay. Today we are opening up day 3 of The Outsiders. Before we do that, you're going to want to pause the video here to take your vocabulary quiz. So remember, you guys have 5 words that we were supposed to study from the first vocabulary.com list. Julia, you're not supposed to be in here. I'm recording this for tomorrow. You're funny. I don't know how else to record these videos unless I go live. But anyway, there's 3 people in here. You're going to pause the video and you're going to take your test for the 5 words. And you're going to do that first. Okay. I know people are logging into this right now because it's 6 o'clock at night on Thursday, but I'm recording this in advance so I could post it tomorrow. I feel like I just want to re-record the whole thing now. I won't. I'll be fine. I don't know if anyone's going to be able to see the chat, but Julia just said, "Don't mind me," and then she dabbed. I'm dead. And Jocelyn's here too. Okay, anyway, if you haven't paused yet, pause your video, take your quiz, and then come back and play when you are ready. I knew if I went live, people would log in. All right, I hope the quiz went well. Who got 100? Everybody? Great. Awesome. Knew you could do it. So every week we're going to do 5 words off of that list. So you've knocked out the first 5. You have 10 more words on our first list. So we can still maintain some vocabulary practice even when we're at home. All right, today our notes, you should have started to open it. It's day 3 of The Outsiders. It's really colorful. It's got some like orange and purple and reds. Super cute. The first slide is our title slide. It tells you we will be reading page 19 to 26 today. Second slide is reminding you to take your vocab quiz and submit that right away. And your third slide, that's where we should be now. Your third slide is your journal for the day. Again, if you always just like look at your exit ticket ahead of time, you'll see that our journals always mirror what we're going to be writing about in our exit ticket. So today you're telling me, what does it mean to be you? I had to think of some ways that you guys identify, right? Like, what does it mean to be a daughter or a son? What does it mean to be a friend or a student? So think of some ways that you define yourself, and you pause the video and type, but what does it mean to be one of those things? Someone's child, a friend, a student, anything else that you guys could possibly think about, okay? 10 lines. If you have any questions about the prompt, text me, message me on Remind. All right, I hope you paused and you wrote a little bit. Now we're going to move to our read aloud today. So yesterday I read to you the end of chapter 1. We met almost all of our greasers. We got to get some background information on them, and we got a little glimpse into the life of the Curtis brothers. It was a really sweet final scene that we had between Soda Pop and Ponyboy, and kind of sad ending. Ponyboy was feeling very much like his older brother doesn't care about him or really love him. We're going to switch gears today, and we're going to be with the gang as they go on a little trip to the drive-in movie theater. So I'm going to read, and I will stop for our 3 questions today. So we're going to just read, it's actually 4 questions, sorry. We're going to read just 19 and 20 today, and then we'll stop and talk about each of our questions. Okay, so you should go to the link for the Outsiders text. That's right on the classroom stream, so if you need to pause to open it up. and we are starting on page 19. And let me just be sure of that because I know the book is a little bit different than this online text. So I'm opening it up as well right now. So I'm going to scroll down to chapter 2. I'm glad that I checked because chapter 2 actually starts on page 18. But in our lesson, guys, the way that I wrote this unit plan, I based it off of the actual book. So the book says 19. So anyway, page 18, and we're going to start to read. If you're looking at the questions, it says number 1, we are just looking for evidence that the greasers talk inappropriately. So if you see any bad language or something that you think is like a little weird, you can copy and paste it right into that spot. The second thing we're listening for is evidence that the boys steal. So if you see them stealing anything at all, copy and paste, just put it right into your notes. And then finally, we're looking for evidence that girls are not into these greaser boys. Okay? When we're finished reading, we're looking again for Ponyboy wants to be seen differently by these girls. He doesn't want the girls to think he's just like any other greaser guy. We want to define the word fuzz. You guys need to be able to tell me what the fuzz are. And then the last question says, what does Ponyboy mean when he says his ears got hot? All right, here we go. Chapter 2. Dally was waiting for Johnny and me under the streetlight at the corner of Pickett and Sutton. And since we got there early, we had time to go over to the drugstore in the little shopping center and goof around. We bought Cokes, and we blew the straws at the waitress. We walked around eyeing things that were lying out in the open until the manager got wise to us and suggested that we leave. He was too late, though. Dally walked out with 2 packages of Cools under his jacket. Okay, so again, we don't have talking inappropriately yet, but we do have stealing. So you should pause, find proof that he was stealing cigarettes. A package of Cools is cigarettes. And you're going to move it right into your notes, okay? Then we went across the street and down Sutton a little way to the Dingo. There are lots of drive-ins in town. The Socias go to the Way Out and to the Rusties. And the Greasers go to the Dingo and to Jay's. The Dingo is a pretty rough hangout. There's always a fight going on there, and once a girl got shot. We walked around talking to all the Greasers and hoods that we knew, leaning in car windows or hopping into the back seats and getting in on who was running away and who was in jail and who was going out with who and who could whip who and who stole what and why. We knew about everybody there. There was a pretty good fight while we were there between a big 23-year-old greaser and a Mexican hitchhiker. We left when the switchblades came out because the cops would be coming soon and nobody in his right mind wants to be there when the fuzz show. So I would pause. Fuzz is the term that is used. So using that sentence, what does the word fuzz mean? It says the cops would be coming soon and nobody in their right minds wants to be around when the fuzz show. You should tell me what fuzz means and how do you know? Remember, we have 4 ways of defining a word in a sentence. We can find a synonym, an antonym, an explanation, or an example. So is there a synonym for fuzz? Is there another word in that sentence that means the same thing as fuzz? Julia, you've given it away. Is there an antonym, an opposite word that means the opposite of fuzz? Is there an explanation of the word fuzz, or are there examples listed? Okay. And if you look in the chat, somehow Julia will have given you the answer. All right. Oh, she retracted her answer. I'm sure you all will get it. It's an easy one. All right, we crossed Sutton and cut around behind Spencer's Special, the discount house, and chased 2 junior high kids across the field for a few minutes. By then it was dark enough to sneak over the back fence of the Nightly Double drive-in movie. It was the biggest in town and showed 2 movies every night. And on weekends, 4. You could say you were going to the nightly double and have time to go all over town. We all had money to get in. It only cost a quarter if you're not in the car. But Dally hated to do things the legal way. He liked to show that he didn't care whether there was a law or not. He went around trying to break laws. We went to the rows of seats in the front concession stand to sit down. Nobody else was there except 2 girls who were sitting down front. Dally eyed them coolly. Then he walked down the aisle and sat right behind them. I had a sick feeling that Dally was up to his usual tricks, and I was right. So, guys, you could pause here before you kind of move on. There is evidence of stealing that you can copy and paste. So they had stolen cigarettes earlier, but they're also kind of stealing in the way that they go into the drive-in movie theater. Okay. We are listening. The last part for number 1 says girls viewing them negatively. So they're about to sit with these girls. I have a feeling like the girls don't want them to sit with them. Okay. He started talking loud enough for the 2 girls to hear. He started out bad and got worse. Dallas could talk awful dirty when he wanted to, and I guess he wanted to then. I felt my ears get hot. So again, if he's talking dirty, that's probably evidence that they're being inappropriate. Copy and paste and move that over. And now what does it mean? When Dallas is talking to these girls, Ponyboy says his ears get hot. So try to explain that to me using context clues. Why would he feel like his ears were getting hot? 2-Bit or Steve or even Soda would have gone right along with them just to see if they could embarrass the girls, but that kind of kicks just doesn't appeal to me. I sat there, struck dumb, and Johnny left hastily to get a Coke. I wouldn't have felt so embarrassed if it had been greasy girls. I might have even helped old Dallas, but those girls weren't our kind. They were tough-looking girls, about 16 or 17. One had short, dark hair, and the other had long red hair. The redhead was getting mad or scared. She sat up straight and she was chewing hard on her gum. The other pretended not to hear Dally. Dally was getting impatient. He put his feet up on the back of the redhead's chair. He winked at me and beat his own record for saying something dirty. She turned around and gave him a cool stare. Take your feet off my chair and shut your trap. Boy, she was good looking. I'd seen her before. She was a cheerleader at our school. I'd always thought that she was stuck up. Dally merely looked at her and kept his feet where they were. Who's going to make me? The other one turned around and watched us. That's the greaser that jockeys for Slash J sometimes, she said, as if we couldn't hear her. I had heard the same tone a million times. Greaser, greaser, greaser. Oh yeah. What are they doing at the drive-in without a car, I thought. And Dallas said, I know you two. I've seen you around at rodeos. It's a shame you can't ride bull as half as you can talk it, the redhead said coolly, and turned back around. That didn't bother Dally in the least. You two barrel race, huh? You better leave us alone, the redhead said in a bitter, biting voice, or I'll call the cops. Oh my. Dally looked bored. You got me scared to death. You ought to see my record sometime, baby. He grinned slyly. Guess what I've been in for? Please leave us alone, she said. Why won't you be nice and leave us alone? Dally grinned roguishly. I'm never nice. Do you want a Coke? She was mad by then. I wouldn't drink it if I was starving in the desert. Get lost, Hood. Dally merely shrugged and strolled off. The girl looked at me. I was half scared of her. I'm half scared of all nice girls, especially Socias. Are you going to start in on us? I shook my head, wide-eyed. No. Suddenly she smiled. Gosh, she was pretty. You don't look the type. What's your name? I wish she hadn't asked me that. I hate to tell people my name for the first time. Ponyboy Curtis. Then I waited for the, you're kidding, or that's your real name, or one of the other remarks I usually get. Ponyboy's my real name, and personally I like it. The redhead just smiled. That's an original and lovely name. My dad was an original person, I said. I got a brother named Soda Pop. Says so right on his birth certificate. My name's Sherry, but I'm called Cherry because of my hair. Cherry Valance. All right, so the last question we skipped on the slide, we can just check real quick. You should have had a quote for the boys talking inappropriately, stealing, the girls not liking them. We should have been able to define fuzz and explain what it meant that his ears got hot. The only question we kind of skipped over was we need proof that Ponyboy wants to be seen differently. So this is going to kind of be our challenge or our bonus question. There is proof that he does not want to behave in the same way as Dallas. So I want you to find that one on your own. Okay. There is no other questions for you to answer today. Tomorrow we are going to do 5 pages more reading together and our exit ticket. So again, any questions you have, you can definitely rewatch this video, pause it to make sure you give yourself enough time for each section. It should have been 10 minutes for your quiz, 10 minutes for your do now. We read together for 10 minutes and then answer your questions. Questions should probably take you about 15. All right. If you need anything, I miss you guys. I definitely am open to doing a Zoom session next week. If you guys, this isn't working out for you, some people want it to kind of work at their own pace. So let me know how it's working out. All right, I'll see you later.